Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt. I am the AmeriCanadian gamer, and I want to talk to you, yes, you, about the weapon tuning live stream that 343 aired on Twitch earlier today. Now, first of all, I do want to say that the footage in the background is from the actual stream itself, which is why it is really kind of low quality and there isn't any sound to go with it. I do apologize, but I also think it's important that you need to see the footage that they showcase while I discuss it. Now, if any of you are unaware of what this stream was, 343 Industries was essentially bringing in high-level and popular players to test out the balance changes they've made so that they could get their opinions on it, get their feedback, and also show the community what they've been working on. And you know, I really must say that I was happy with what I saw on the stream to an extent, but it really didn't excite me like I was hoping it would. And I kind of think that's mainly because the stream didn't show off the weapons like I was expecting them to. Most of the players really stuck to the battle rifle. One guy did play a whole match with the carbine, which I was happy to see, and there was just a little bit of light rifle and a very small amount of DMR action, but we saw almost no automatic weapons. There was one player that used the assault rifle for 2 or 3 lives, didn't really do anything with it, and then went right back to the battle rifle after using it. But from what I did get to see, the battle rifle is definitely going to be the dominant weapon at closer ranges when this update hits. The rate of fire nerf is almost unnoticeable, and one of the commentators even made it a point to mention how this is a very small nerf to the rate of fire, and that most people won't even notice it. So that means if you can consistently land those 4 shots, I don't think there will be many ways to compete with you when you're within the battle rifle's effective range, unless you're already using a weapon like the assault rifle, storm rifle, or suppressor that's really made to beat it at the closest of ranges. Now, another effect of the BR's damage boost means that the group shot with this weapon is now much more effective. Teams that are wielding the battle rifle with coordinated fire are definitely going to be something to be feared on a competitive level, and if you play competitively, you need to start coordinating your fire with your teammates on your callouts, because if 2 people land 2 bursts on one guy, they're going to drop him with those 2 bursts from each person. That's a really fast kill, and I think that's going to change a lot on the competitive level when this hits. And the damage buff also means that you will have a bit more leeway with your grenades. So that means that even if you didn't throw the perfect grenade, but you still got it kind of close to the guy, you're still going to be able to have the damage to probably get the 1-shot kill to the guy's head, because you'll have a couple bullets to drop the shield and 1 more to get the actual headshot. So once this update actually comes, once this update hits, you're going to see a lot more battle rifle action online. A whole lot more battle rifle action. It was doing a lot of work on the stream. It really, really was. Now, the carbine is another story. Now, it's a weapon, it's getting a slight buff, and it's only going to take 7 shots to kill instead of the 8 that it currently takes. It's going to retain the same rate of fire and same aim assist functions that it currently has. It's just going to get a damage buff. And to be honest, I don't think it was really enough. Now, if the carbine was the only weapon being buffed in this entire update, then it would have been enough for players to use to reward players for their skill-based shooting, and it would have made the carbine more competitive. But since its main competition, the battle rifle, has received a buff as well, I don't think there's really going to be much of a point to using the carbine, because it's going to struggle to beat the DMR at closer ranges, and the light rifle may even give it a run for its money depending on how skilled that player is. I don't think the carbine got enough of a buff, considering the other weapons also got buffed with it. And also, speaking of the light rifle, it's also gotten a very slight buff. Not really much, but it's pretty significant on big team battles and larger maps. So when you're zoomed in with the weapon, you will get an increased rate of fire. This makes the 4-shot light rifle very deadly, but you do have to zoom in to get that bonus. So at closer ranges, every other rifle will have an advantage over it, even the carbine probably with its buff now. So theoretically at long range, especially on maps like Ragnarok, the light rifle will be the dominant long-range weapon. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see very much of that, so we're just going to have to wait and experience that for ourselves when the update actually comes. Now, much to the joy of Halo 4 players across the world, the DMR is receiving a slight nerf. The range at which the reticle turns red has been reduced, which means that the weapon won't have the insane range that it currently has. It will still be a good long-range weapon, but it's not going to have the aim assist functionality out to as an extreme range that it does now, because right now it really does do a lot of work for you even at longer ranges, and they're reducing that, and that's a really good change that I'm really happy to see. And they're also making the light rifle zoom function to match it. Before, the light rifle would not turn red at the same range as the DMR. The DMR still had a longer range even while the light rifle was zoomed in, which even though the light rifle had more damage and was made to beat the DMR at long range, it couldn't because of the aim assist functionality. But now they're even on that level, so the light rifle will theoretically be the better weapon at those long ranges. Not only that, but at close range, the battle rifle tears the DMR apart. The battle rifle just flat out kills faster, so when you're within the battle rifle's effective range, the DMR is going to have a hard time in a straight up duel between two players. This tells me that the DMR is going to be the dominant weapon at very specific ranges, a little more than mid-range and a little before long range. The light rifle is kind of going to give it a run for its money at long ranges, but at close ranges the BR will have the advantage, and carbines are going to have a little easier time now too with their slight damage buff. Now this may mean that the DMR players will have to keep enemies at an arm's reach where they're the most effective, keep them within very specific ranges, and change the way that they're going to play. I really think the DMR is going to remain effective, but the playstyle surrounding the DMR is going to have to change. It's not going to be the primary dominant weapon at all ranges. I think it's going to be a jack of all trades, but master at none. Able to be used at close, medium, and long range, but when you compete with a weapon that fits that specific role, close, medium, and long, you're going to be at a disadvantage, so you're going to have to keep the DMR within the proper respective ranges for its power versus your opponents. Now, we didn't unfortunately see much of DMR play, so again, we'll have to wait until the update hits and the update is released, but that's where I'm thinking the DMR is going to go once this update goes live. Now, I would like to go into some detail about the automatic weapons, but like I said, nobody really used them, at least not on camera. If somebody was using it, we didn't really get to see very much of it, so I'm sorry, we're going to have to wait for that one as well. Maybe they'll have more information on that out later. But 343 did stress that these changes are meant to force weapons into their respective roles. Now, what it looks like to me is that the light rifle will have the highest advantage at long range, followed closely by the DMR, which seems like I said, it will be a jack of all trades, master of none kind of weapon. Then the battle rifle will be the dominant close range rifle. Once you get within the battle rifle's range, it's going to have the advantage in pretty much every situation. And unfortunately, I don't think the carbine's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be pretty underwhelming still, unfortunately. That makes me sad because I do enjoy the carbine. I like the way it feels and the way it's just used. It has a feel to it that's really nice. The weapon handles in a specific way. And I don't think it rewards players for the amount of skill that's required to be effective with that weapon. And even though it's getting a buff, I think the buffs surrounding the other weapons are going to overwhelm it. I think it may actually need another buff after this, maybe some aim assist enhancements, or even another damage boost. Something to help it out, because I don't think the carbine's going to remain competitive. It's not even competitive now, not even remain competitive, remain uncompetitive. I don't think the carbine's really going anywhere. Now, 343 made it a point to state that these changes are not final. These are just where they are currently standing. They're going to receive feedback from the players that attended the stream, and these are professional, high-level players as well as some other popular players that know the game very thoroughly, so they'll give their feedback and see where the weapons get rebalanced, and we should see what they decide to do in the next Halo Bulletin, which will come next week, and we'll see what kind of changes they decided to apply. And then we will finally get to experience these changes ourselves when the update goes live on June 3rd. So, what do you guys and gals think of these updates? Do you really think it'll help kind of reinvigorate the player base, or do you think it's going to make things worse, or do you think it's just too little too late? I'm curious. Let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about these changes. Are you excited? Are you not? I'm curious. I want to know. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt, and I will see you next time.